But, we are looking at an NBA playoffs that is missing the three biggest faces in the sport because Curry didn't even reach the technical playoffs. LeBron has been bounced. Kevin Durant got swept. Those are like the three faces of the league in terms of the old guys and the old guard. And now the LeBron off season, and what is he going to do next? Is he going back to the Lakers? Might the Warriors be interested? And I was in the car yesterday, just flipping around, got a little both, I was hearing KNBR and the game talking about it. And, forget about LeBron's age. Forget about it. If he were a Golden State Warrior this upcoming season, he's the second best player on the team. That's the only thing you would need to know. He's the second best Golden State Warrior if he were a Golden State Warrior. So the whole I would never want LeBron on the Warriors.
Well, I don't want him on the. I mean, it's just like anything. Do you want the most hated player on the rival team that your team goes against to be on your team? I don't. I don't want LeBron cherry picking more titles. He's already got more titles than he deserves.
Does he?
Every time he does anything, people are like, he's better than Jordan. No, he's not better than Jordan. No. And I don't want him on my team. I don't want LeBron on the team.
You're nuts.
And the Warriors, by the way, are 4-1 favorites to land him. The Warriors, these are the odds on LeBron's next team if he's not a Laker. Warriors 4-1, Cavs are 5-1, Knicks are 6-1, Bulls are 7-1, Sixers are 8, and Miami's 9. I do not want LeBron James because I know the way this is going to work. You're going to have to give up Jonathan Kuminga to the Lakers. So now you're going to give the Lakers some awesome young athlete who's 21 or 19 or whatever age he is, and they're going to have him for the next decade. And the Warriors are going to have a couple failed attempts at a title with LeBron, and then we're going to get to watch Kuminga be a Laker for the next decade. I don't want to see that. I don't want – if you're giving me LeBron James for Andrew Wiggins and Chris Paul, fine, we'll do it. But I'm not giving you Jonathan Kuminga. I just saw a trade from Bleacher Report. They're like, this will rekindle the Warrior dynasty. And it was the Warriors getting Mikal Bridges in a deal that sent Wiggins and Kuminga and multiple ones and twos. And I'm like, no way, no freaking way do I want to see the Warriors trade all those assets for Mikal Bridges. Nor do I believe that Mikal Bridges is somehow going to make the Warriors champion. They're not winning jack with Mikal Bridges.
Mikal Bridges is an interesting player, but he's not okay. LeBron James is still one of the 10 best players in basketball. I don't care how old he is. He is an on-court force of nature every single game he's out there.
Isn't the whole two-timeline thing, Damon, about not
There's no two-timeline thing anymore. It's over. That's not happening.
But wasn't the whole argument for the two-timeline because the Warriors have this opulent arena and they can't afford to shut it down for like 5 years, 6 years and rebuild? They need people coming through the turnstiles. If you trade Kuminga and all your assets for old man LeBron James, 2 years from now, you're going to be looking at the ghost town of ghost towns. And you're still going to charge $50 for 3 tall boys? Really? You're going to get $50 for 3 beers?
Yeah.
That's what they're getting now.
Yeah, they will.
But nobody's going to go. Nobody's going to go in 2 years when Steph's gone, Clay's gone, LeBron's gone, and the Warriors are just a total awful team that has no assets and is 5 years away from doing anything.
Who's paying $50 for 3 tall boys for Jonathan Kuminga? Again, not
right now. I mean, the Warriors draw pretty well.
Very interesting. I like Jonathan Kuminga. I wouldn't want to let him go. Jonathan Kuminga.
Would you trade him for LeBron? I would not.
In a fucking heartbeat. What are you kidding? Dude, it's LeBron James.
Dude, how old is LeBron? That's like saying Tom Brady. LeBron James is old
right now. In his LeBron James
are they winning a title with LeBron James? I don't believe that. Do you?
LeBron James will probably put up better numbers in the final year of his career than Jonathan Kuminga will in any year of his career.
But LeBron James is how old?
I don't care. It's time to get one more drop of blood out of the Steph Curry rock. That's all they're trying to do.
Yeah, but that's the wrong thing to do because that's going to deliver really, really, really bad teams for like 5-6 years.
That's
Stop
coming
playing
no matter
this
what.
game.
It's
Stop
coming no
doing
matter
this.
what.
Stop playing this game. They need to divest themselves of some of their players and get more young assets and build and find young players. That there is no. That's how they won last time. That's how they're going to win next time. They're not going to win by getting some old guy to come for one last year. They're not winning. They're not beating the Denver. LeBron just got swept almost. I mean, they had some mercy game at the end, but essentially they got swept. They went down 3-0 or 0-3 to the Nuggets. The Nuggets just
fault. Look at the other 12 Los Angeles Lakers. Not LeBron.
Yeah, but I mean, even so, I mean, LeBron is, how old is LeBron? He's almost 40.
Yeah, he'll be 39, I believe.
No, I'm not trading Jonathan Kuminga for a 40-year-old player. I mean, what don't you like about Jonathan Kuminga? He's getting better every year. He's 19.
I like Jonathan Kuminga an awful lot.
Well, 2 years from now, he's going to be 21.
All right.
2 years from now, LeBron's going to be 41.
Right.
You can't trade Kuminga for
better numbers.
But you can't. If they want to move LeBron, if LeBron wants to get out of there, if LeBron wants to come to the Warriors, I really don't want to see it because one, I can't stand LeBron. I think I hate the way he flops. I hate, somebody brushes his face. He goes down. He's just so.
Steph Curry's never taken a dive. He's never fallen down when he shoots a three. Steph Curry falls down at most threes.
LeBron just has these dramatic. I just don't like LeBron. I mean, I've been conditioned to not like LeBron because I don't like LeBron. He stole a title from the Warriors. I don't want to. He doesn't deserve all the titles that he has. I can't stand the whole comparison to Jordan. He's not as good as Jordan, and I don't want him on my team. And I definitely don't want him on my team if I have to give away my good young assets. Now,
all right. Well, you got to get out of your feelings there, pal.
No, it's called being normal. And who would want to trade? Do you want to trade a great young player who's a lottery pick and has tons of talent for some old, decrepit player who's not going to help you win a title? You're not beating Denver with LeBron and Curry. You're not. So, I mean, Joe's dreaming it because he's thinking of turnstiles. But you know what? As soon as Curry and LeBron are done, you're totally cooked for like a long, long time. If you stay with Kuminga and you build up your young players, you have a young core. You have Kuminga, you have Pods, you have Trace Jackson Davis. You have some young players. Build around your young players.
When the Steph Curry era ends, it's a screeching halt, and there is no player that you're going to add to prevent that. In the history of the NBA, great teams at the end of their greatness do not keep on being great. It never has happened. It never will happen. The Warriors will bottom out. You can't prevent that from happening. So
there's no guarantee that I don't believe that LeBron James added to this team is going to make them a title contender. I don't. I think he'll make them more interesting until they fall out of it, but then they're going to crash and burn in a terrible way.
Okay, well, if they just return the team that they had last year, they aren't a title contender either.
They're not, but that's okay. They've had their run. It's over. I mean, know when it's over. Don't be the old guy in the club. That's what the Warriors would be if they got LeBron James. They're literally the old guy in the club hanging out, trying to pretend he's 22. You're not 22.
Yeah,
it's
but
not your time. It's OKC's time.
Every single night,
it's Minnesota's time.
To the club. Like that old dude is still pulling crazy skirt.
Yeah, but you know what? You blew it. You should have figured out a way to get Anthony Edwards. Instead, you took James Wiseman and then traded him a year later for GP2.
Well, they couldn't.
The run is done, man.
First pick in the draft, and they had the second pick in the draft.
I'm just saying you should have maneuvered to get the player. I mean, there was a good player that went before you. There was a good player that went after you, and you took a guy who sucked. And that was your moment. So you're done. They're done. It's over. They're not going to be able to. They're not going to be able to get it. They're not going to run it back next year and win the title. That Steph Curry thing where he said to Klay Thompson, "Hey, we're not done." Yes, you are. Yes, you are done. You are done. And you're not. Denver's all in their prime. You're beating them next year. You're going to be better than Jokic next year. I mean, the only way the Warriors are winning is if they have some miraculous offseason and two of the teams above them just crash and burn. I mean, in the middle of the year. So, I mean, it's like, what are we talking about here? I mean, it's like, let's get real. Do what everybody else does. Go get assets. Move Draymond for assets. Let Clay go. Try to see if you can get some asset for Chris Paul. Build your assets. Try to win that way. If the Lakers were willing to take, a draft choice, Chris Paul and Andrew Wiggins, that's fine. But that's not what they're going to want. They're going to want all their young assets and many draft picks for a player that isn't going to win you the title. And then it's just going to make your it's just going to make your downtime be even that much longer. I mean, what do you want? What are you looking for? You're looking for half a season of, wow, it's exciting, Steph and LeBron together, or, as they're taking all kinds of rest and not what they were. And it's like, no, it's a young man's league. Look at the league. Look around at the league and make the adjustment. OKC's young. Minnesota's young. You need to have young players. That's what you need.
Again,
that's how Sam Presti built
the Warriors how do they materialize this young, incredible, fictitious player that you're talking about? And I can tell you, whoever that young player is next year, he ain't going to be better than LeBron James.
You have to draft your way to winning titles. There's no team that signs their way to winning titles. You have to draft your way. They drafted Draymond Green. They're going to have to. They drafted Steph Curry. They drafted Klay Thompson. They drafted Harrison Barnes,
and Trace Jackson Davis. That's a pretty good draft there.
You got to keep drafting. You got to keep drafting young players and hit. I mean, you're already in an era where you could find a great young player in the second round. You could find a great young player in the later half of the first round. I mean, you're already in an era where it's all the players coming into the league are speculative talents. So it's all about your scouting. If you have good scouts, there's good players to be had out there. It's like, I don't want to, when I was a Giants fan, I didn't want to be like, hey, you know what? Just go sign Steve Garvey. No, go find your own Steve Garvey, and it's like the same thing. You just, should the Niners just go sign Aaron Donald? Well, no. He, now he's retired, but what do you got? One last year of Aaron Donald? No, go draft your own Aaron Donald. And that's what I would say to the Warriors. Go find your own great player. I'd rather go try to find the next great young player. And it's fine. And these guys are out there. I mean, it's not like you need lottery picks to win in the NBA, but you need to get real about where you're at. I don't want LeBron. I really don't. I know Joe does, because Joe's got this opulent arena that's enormously expensive, and he's looking for people to go through the turnstiles. But they would fall off, it's like they would fall off where they were the worst team in basketball. They wouldn't just fall off like they're not winning titles. They'd fall off like they're the worst team in the league for like 5-6 years. And then, how are your incredibly expensive arena going to?
Would they win 19 games the year that Curry broke his wrist or whatever? That's what it's going to be. When Curry's off the court, it's gonna be a horror show for several years. And
but if you don't have Kuminga, I mean, Kuminga's a terrific young player. I mean, it's like, why I'm not giving away Kuminga unless I think I'm going to win a title, right. And I'm not winning a title.
Spending $3,000 for a courtside seat to watch Jonathan Kuminga. People will spend $4,000 to watch LeBron. And
for what? For 32 games? For 1 year? I mean, that's just and then what you get bounced in the first round by Sacramento? I mean, you got to get real. They've got to get real. They can't just run it back. I mean, it's over. I mean, it's absolutely over. They can't run it back. They were too young and too old.
Steph Curry.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. LeBron's too old. Curry's too old. you can't be too old or too young. And that's where Golden State is. They're too old, too young. They only have one player, Wiggins, in the prime. If they were smart, they would move Green for a couple players in their prime. They would move Paul, get his contract redone and move him for a couple players in their prime. Anybody who has any value at all, they should move for either picks or players that are approaching the prime of their career, and then take a chance that Curry's surrounded by guys in their prime. Maybe you could hit on a couple guys.
So the only thing that Larry needs for the Warriors to get better is a fictitious alternate reality that doesn't exist at all, where they're able to add 23-year-old All-Americans from the middle of the first round, where they'll be drafting because they're not.
They don't even have a pick. They need to trade for picks. What do you think Trace Jackson Davis is?
Trace Jackson, a miracle that fell in their lap.
Should they not? And that's what they need. And that's what the NBA draft is.
Oh,
I've looked at the mock draft. Baylor Shireman is a really good shooter. Baylor Shireman is going to be a good NBA player. He's listed at like 56 in the draft. Why? Because it's a speculative draft and people don't really know.
Yeah, he's Jimmer Fredette, Larry.
He's not. He's 6'7". He's a 6'7". He's a 6'7" marksman. He's one of the best shooters in the in this draft for sure. He's going to play in the league, absolutely. I mean, he's 6'7". He's a 6'7" guy who's got an unbelievable shot. He's going to go in the second round. You're going to have to hit on some guys. Zach Edey's going in the second round. Heck, the two guys that are from Duke, Filipowski, who's a pretty good big man, and the kid from Sacramento, McLean. Those guys are going, they say, in the 20s. So if you can make moves and target the right players, and
none of them will be better than LeBron James next year.
You've got the makings of a team that's getting better. There's no way I want to see them sell Kuminga and picks and others, probably Kuminga and Moody and 2 or 3 draft choices for a guy approaching 40. No way. It's the NBA, man. I'm not taking guys in their 40s. I mean, there is no example that you can point to of anybody who's ever added a 40-year-old player that went on and won a title. It's never happened.
Well, there's never been a 40-year-old player this good in the history of maybe professional sports. Like LeBron,
but he's on a good team now. There's no Anthony Davis here. You got Steph, but it's not like the Warriors they just need LeBron to climb the top. The assets that they would have to move to get him would ruin the team to begin with.
Larry,
they don't have a good enough team.
He's a free agent.
Well,
what are you talking about? What assets?
Well, but why is he coming here? Suddenly they've got all this money to spend on him.
No, I don't think he's getting commanding top dollar anymore.
If he wants to take less money to come here, but I would definitely don't want to. I don't want to move the young core. I don't want to move Kuminga, Trace Jackson Davis, Pajemski, Moody. I don't want to see them. And most Warrior fans don't like LeBron for obvious reasons. So, I don't see where that works. But obviously, there's a lot of people that feel like he's coming here because he's the favorite, or they're the favorite.
Bring him in. Bring him in. It would only be the most watched Warriors season of all time. And Joe Lacob's looking at that too. So I think there is a chance that it could actually happen. And I don't think it would do anything other than improve the team next year. Now, 3-4 years down the road from now, sorry, sweetheart, I can't promise you anything there. But I promise you they would get better. How dare anyone call me during our program?
I just don't. It's like there's certain players you don't want on your team.
Yeah.
And to me, he's one of them. He's the guy that you've rooted against. And now you're supposed to be like, yeah, bring him in. I don't want to see. And what is he going to get? Win one more title and claim that he's better than Jordan?
One more title is the only X marks the spot that the Golden State Warriors.
But they're not going to win a title. Come on. Are you watching these NBA playoffs? These teams are deep and athletic and young and talented. You're not going to add old man LeBron to Steph and suddenly they win.
There's not a single team in this playoffs that if LeBron weren't on that team, he's not starting.
Starting, that's fine, but we're talking about winning a title. They're not beating Denver. They just got flushed by Denver. And the Lakers have other players on their roster. It's not like LeBron and nobody. Well, they have other players on their roster.
They got beaten by Denver, but I don't know if they got flushed. The Lakers,
it was 3-0.
Right, but the Lakers spent more time leading in that series than the Nuggets were able to hit a few
just because the Nuggets played
every game to get it done because they had more closers. You can't ask a 39-year-old LeBron to be your closer, and that's what the Lakers were doing. And they also cooked his book way too much. Darvin Ham was saying, all right, you're going to go out and get the workload of a 23-year-old, where if he came to the Warriors, they wouldn't play him like that. They wouldn't treat him like that. So I don't know. Look,
I'm not in the category of, take players that I've rooted against and put them on my team.
I'm in the category of, does this player make you better? If the answer is yes, get your dick out of your heart, sweetie, and just go. That's the way it goes.
It doesn't make you better. It's going to clog minutes that you should be given to Kuminga because that's really your future. I mean, Kuminga is a great young player. Moody's a very good young player. Trace Jackson Davis, a very good big man, and they can go get a couple more players. Go move Draymond for a couple assets. Go move Paul's expiring 30 for a couple assets. Go do it that way. Don't try to quick fix it and run it back with old guys who can't play anymore. I mean,
LeBron is not an old guy who can't play anymore. He's one of the 10 best players in the NBA right now.
He's definitely an old guy.
He's old, but he's one of the 10 best players in the league.
And it ends for everybody. Father Time is undefeated.
Sure.
So
but
I mean,
is doing
you're not. So how many games did he play this year? And what would you anticipate him playing next year? I mean, I just don't want him on the team because I don't want to root for him. But I also don't want this delusion of the Warriors are really a title contender. They're not. They're not title contenders. There are younger, deeper, better teams, and it's okay. It's all right. You won 4 rings. It was a great run. Now you've got Steph Curry, keep him around. Everybody else, move off of them and find younger assets and turn the thing over. I mean, this refusal to turn the thing over is, for what?
Here's the way.
What was so great about this year that it would have been
the way the entire thing should be handled? Steph, do you want us to go out and get LeBron? If he says yes, you go do it. If he says no, you don't do it. Steph, what do you want? That's how this should really be handled.
Well,
Steph,
I mean,
what do you want?
Steph always is going to have a seat at the table as far as who they go after and who they don't. But be careful when you listen to Steph, because Steph said Avery Bradley over GP2, and Avery Bradley stunk, and GP2 has been a key cog. So you got to hear your players. You don't have to listen to your players.
Yeah, I think you got to listen to Steph at the end.